All right, Mr. Ghere again. We're going to continue with quadratic formula, notes day 2. Now, with this at-home learning things, I'm trying to keep this as simple as we can. So yesterday, or the last lesson that we did, all of the radicals were nice. It was the square root of 36, the square root of 1, okay? So they all worked out nice. We had integer answers for the most part for all of those. So normally, when we have things that aren't so nice in the radicals, a lot of times we do our answers in simplest radical form. I'm not going to mess with that over this guided learning and learning and distance learning at home. So these top 6 problems, I'm going to kind of forget about these for now. We'll pick that up next year. And like I said, your teachers are going to be really understanding of things that maybe we didn't get to and we didn't understand next year, and they're going to go over this again and make sure that you fully get it before you move on. So I will talk to those teachers and make sure we're all on the same page. So, but we're going to use decimals, okay? So quadratic formula hasn't changed since the last one. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This works when the quadratic is in standard form set equal to 0, okay? So if we look through these, I've got a little bit started on each one of these just to save us some time, because I know the videos are getting a little lengthy when we go through the whole note. So let's just go through these. You can fast forward, you can rewind, you can jump around to see what you need to see. But if we look at number 1, a is 1, b is negative 2, and c is negative 8. Same idea. We set up 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 in parentheses squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 8 all over 2 times 1. So when we do the radical there, we get 6. So this one's going to be 2 plus or minus 6. So the discriminant, the number inside the radical is 36, which we could take the square root of and get 6 all over 2. So 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. That's one answer. And 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. That is your same answer. So those are that's exactly what we did yesterday, or the previous lesson. Okay? The next one, again, a little bit of review from the last one. We get negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 8 over 2. Well, this negative 8 gives us problems. We can't have a real answer if we have the square root of a negative. So we like those. That actually saves us some time. We can stop right there. As soon as our calculator says error, or we realize it's the square root of a negative number, there are no real solutions. Next year, you will talk about what to do when there are imaginary solutions. All right, so you got out of that for this year. Okay, the last 4 rather, a little bit more involved. Okay, so if we look at number 3, if we typed in the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2, we would get a decimal, 5.29, because 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2 gives you 28, and the square root of 28 is not a perfect square. So next year, your teachers will probably have, instead of doing what I'm going to do today, they say, oh, the square root of 28, that's 2 root 7. Put it in simplest radical form and go from there. We're just going to work with decimals, all right? So we're going to say, okay, this is negative 6. And there's nothing wrong with doing it this way. These are just approximations. And then we get 5.29 over 2, okay? So not so nice, but that's all right. So not everything in math is nice. So we type in negative 6 plus 5.29 and divide by 2. And we type in negative 6 minus 5.29, remember to hit equals, and then divide by 2. And we get 2 answers. One answer is negative 0.36, and the other answer is negative 5.65. So those are your 2 answers for that. Okay, so they're not nice decimal answers. If you were graphing this, it would cross the x-axis twice, and those would be the points at which it crosses the x-axis. All right, not nice integers like we worked with in the last unit. Okay, 4, same idea. 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3 all over 2. So I would just use your calculator, or by hand, I guess, type in or do the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3. And we're going to get 3.61. So we're going to get 6 plus or minus 3.61 all over 2. I'm sorry, I wrote that in the wrong spot. You can't even see what I'm writing. All right, so that's going to get us, let's start over. 5 plus or minus the square root, or we got rid of the square root, my goodness. All right, so we're going to get 3.61 here over 2. So if I take 5 plus 3.61 and divide it by 2, I get 4.30. And if I take 5 minus 3.61 and divide it by 2, I get 0.70. Okay? So those are your two answers, 4.30 and 0.70. Sorry about that. Number 5, same idea. We plug in the numbers and we let the calculator do some of the work. Okay, so we're going to get, when we type that into the radical, I didn't finish this one up, we get 3.46. So we get negative 4 plus or minus 3.46 all over 2. Again, go two ways. Negative 4 plus 3.46 over 2 and negative 4 minus 3.46 over 2. And we get two answers, negative 0.27 and negative 3.73. Okay. And then number 6, I started to write down here earlier when I messed up. So we're going to do this. We're going to get 6 plus or minus. Now, when we take the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times 2, we get whatever the square root of 20 is, and that's 4.47. So it's 6 plus or minus 4.47 all over 4 this time, because 2 times 2 in the denominator, and we get one answer of 2.62 and the other answer of 0.38. So same as what we've been doing or what we did on the last unit or the last topic, except we could have decimals when we take our square roots, and that's perfectly fine. All right, you're going to probably get decimal answers more than you would get integer answers, just because not everything is going to work out perfectly all the time. Okay, so there's a practice worksheet for this. It says quadratic formula worksheet number 2. The next video will go over the answers and how I did those. So again, keep working. If you've got questions, make sure you ask me through email or through text. And again, hopefully you're staying safe and staying healthy. Okay, have a great day. Thanks. Bye.